Perfectionism is a pattern that so many of us struggle with, and often we're rewarded for it because it can look like having a polished exterior or like having high standards and constantly striving to be better. But underneath it all, perfectionism creates a constant pressure that lives in the mind and the body, along with a critical inner world where we can never really feel good enough. But even when we can see how much it's exhausting us and keeping us stuck, it can be incredibly hard to change. And that's because this deeply ingrained pattern of perfectionism is usually a self-protective strategy that we developed very early in life in response to pain, fear, or not having our needs met. Maybe trying to be perfect helped you survive criticism or unpredictability. Maybe it gave you a sense of control when things felt chaotic. Or maybe it became a way of coping with feeling unworthy or unseen. Ultimately, when we look beneath our perfectionistic tendencies, we often find a part that's just trying to protect us. Often it carries a belief like, if I can just do everything right, I won't get hurt again. But of course, perfection never comes. And in the pursuit of it, we often lose touch with our aliveness, our creativity, and our ability to tolerate the messiness that's inherent in being human. So, in this parts work meditation to let go of perfectionism, we're going to gently and compassionately turn our attention toward this perfectionistic part within so we can build a relationship with this part. We're going to connect to and listen to this part so we can create gentle but meaningful change in this deep pattern. And this guided parts work meditation uses regenerating images in memory, or RIM, which is a body-centered emotional processing technique that helps you connect with your subconscious and create real change from the inside out. And it's my favorite way to work with old knee-jerk patterns and self-protective patterns like perfectionism, because when we begin to bring support to the subconscious roots of these patterns, it's amazing what can shift in our lives. Welcome to Somatic Healing Meditations, the podcast that helps you regulate your nervous system, deepen your healing journey, and feel better in your body. I'm Karenna with Hello Inner Light, and I'm so happy you're here. I'm a somatic healing coach who specializes in compassionate, body-centered processing that helps you heal the wounds that are holding you back. So if that's the kind of content you need more of in your life, please subscribe to this podcast and join me every Friday on this beautiful journey out of your head and into your more embodied and authentic self. And if you want to learn even more about how to connect with your body and emotions in a deep and supportive way, I have a free mini course called the Feel It to Heal It mini course that's available on my website. In 5 powerful mini lessons, it will help you drop in, deepen your compassionate self-understanding, and find more clarity and healing on your journey. Now, before we dive into this uninterrupted meditation, here's a quick word from the sponsors that make all this free content possible. Now, let's dive into this parts work meditation to let go of perfectionism. So finding a time and a space where it's safe and comfortable to close your eyes and turn your attention within. And with your eyes closed, just gently bring more and more awareness to your breath. Noticing that you can feel the air moving in and out through your nostrils. and noticing that you can feel the natural rise and fall of your chest and tummy that just happens on every inhale and every exhale. Now, gently, on your next breath, imagine that you could breathe in through your heart and out through your belly button. Even imagining that you could feel the space or the distance between your heart and your belly button. Gently imagining on your next breath that you could breathe in through your throat and out through your shoulders on both sides. And again, imagining that you could feel the space or the distance between your throat and your shoulders. Imagining that you could breathe in through your right ear and out through your left elbow. Feeling the space or the distance. Breathing in through your left ear and out through your right elbow. Feeling the space or the distance. And then imagining on your next breath that you could breathe in through your knees and out through the soles of your feet. Feeling the space or the distance between your knees and your feet. And then just breathing in and out through your heart. And now just follow your next breath deep into the core of your being. And as you're here deeply dropped in, bring to mind your perfectionism. You could think of a perfectionistic pattern or a situation where you've been highly perfectionistic, or whatever feels right. And as you bring your perfectionism to mind, your body will have a reaction. So perhaps your breath or posture will change. Perhaps something within will contract or tighten. Maybe you'll feel tension or emotion somewhere within. And just begin to really notice that reaction in your body. And this reaction that happens when you think of your perfectionism, where is it the most within or around you? Is it more on the right or the left? Or maybe it's centralized, or maybe it's everywhere. Is this reaction more deep or superficial, or maybe both or neither? How big is this reaction, or how much space does it take up within or around you? Noticing the height, width, thickness, and shape of this reaction in your body. Does this reaction have a color or a quality or an image associated with it? And just noticing anything else you notice about this feeling or this reaction in your body. And we're going to call this your perfectionistic part. So everything you just noticed, the color, the shape, the feeling, the location, whatever it is, that's your perfectionistic part. And we're going to do some really deep work with this part. But before we do that, your imagination is going to call forward a virtual resource to be here with you. And a virtual resource is like a guide or an angel or a friend or an animal. It's really anyone or anything that is safe, loving, and powerful. So just notice who has shown up to be here with you as your virtual resource. And how does it feel to have this virtual resource here with you? And if no virtual resource has shown up to be here with you, just know that you're surrounded by your circle of guardians. And now with this virtual resource or this circle of guardians with you, you're going to bring your awareness back to the perfectionistic part. that color, that quality, that size, whatever it is that you noticed about it. Really bringing your awareness back to that reaction in your body. And now, with your virtual resource or circle of guardians with you every step of the way, your imagination is just going to take your awareness into this perfectionistic part. You're going to become that part. You're going to become the color, the shape, the size. You become this part. You know what it knows. You feel what it feels. And you even look out through its perspective. So taking a breath and being this part. And then you're going to speak as this part. And as this perfectionistic part, you're just going to say, what it's like to be me is. Breathing and feeling and being this perfectionistic part. And again, as this part, just let your words come forward and finish this sentence. What I'm really feeling deep down is. Breathing and feeling, and surrendering even more deeply into this perfectionistic part. And then again, as this part, just finishing this sentence. What I'm afraid would happen if I let go of this perfectionism is. Breathing and feeling. Being this part and speaking as this part, just finish this sentence. Really, what I think I'm protecting you from is. Breathing and feeling and being this part. And as this part, you're just going to say, what I'd rather do if I didn't have to be so perfectionistic is. Surrendering even more deeply into this perfectionistic part. Just letting your words come forward, and as this part, you're just gonna say, what I really want or need right now is. Breathing and feeling and being this part. And as this part, you're just going to say how it feels to say all of this is. And now just speaking anything else that wants to be spoken from this part until that feels complete. And when that feels complete, your imagination is just going to take your awareness out of this part and back into your whole self. So taking a breath and landing back in the wholeness and totality of you. And now, as your whole self, just look back at that perfectionistic part. And as your whole self, you're just going to receive a stream of colored energy coming from that part, representing everything it just shared with you. So noticing the color and the quality of that stream of energy. And noticing where you receive that energy in your body first, and just fully receiving it. And now, once you've received that, you're going to speak as your whole self back to this perfectionistic part. So, speaking as your whole self to this part, just let your words come forward and finish this sentence. Part, what I heard from you or what I received from you is. Breathing and feeling and being your whole self. And as your whole self speaking back to the perfectionistic part, you're just going to say how it feels to hear this or receive this from you is. Breathing and feeling, letting your words come forward as you speak as your whole self back to the perfectionistic part. You're just going to say, part, what I want to tell you is. Breathing and feeling and being your whole self. And as your whole self speaking back to the perfectionistic part, you're just going to say, part, what I know about you is. Breathing and feeling, letting your words come forward, speaking as your whole self back to the perfectionistic part. You're just going to say, part, what I know about perfectionism is. Breathing and feeling. And as your whole self speaking back to the perfectionistic part, you're just going to say, part, how it feels to have this conversation with you is. And now just speaking anything else that wants to be spoken from your whole self back to the perfectionistic part now. And when that feels complete, your imagination is going to take you back into the perfectionistic part one more time. So you just dive in. You know what that part knows. You feel what it feels. And it may have changed since the beginning of this meditation, or it may be the same. But you just become this perfectionistic part one more time. And now, as this perfectionistic part, you're just going to look back at your whole self and receive a stream of colored energy from your whole self, representing everything that it just said. So noticing the color and the quality of this stream of energy. And as this perfectionistic part, just notice where in your body you receive that energy first. And then just fully receive it. And now, as this perfectionistic part, you're going to speak back to your whole self. So as this perfectionistic part, let your words come forward and just finish this sentence. Self, what I heard from you or what I received from you is. Breathing and feeling and being this perfectionistic part. And as this part speaking back to your whole self, you're just going to say, self, what it's like to hear this and receive this from you is. Breathing and feeling and being this part. And as this part, you're just going to say, self, what I understand now that I didn't understand before is. Breathing and surrendering into this part even more. Letting your words come forward, and as this part, you're just going to say what it feels like to understand this is. And now, just speaking anything else that wants to be spoken from this perfectionistic part until that feels complete. And when that feels complete, your imagination just takes your awareness out of this part and back into your whole self one more time. So landing back in the wholeness and totality of you. And just notice how you feel now. What has shifted within you? What looks different or what feels different? And what do you know about your perfectionistic tendencies now that you didn't know before? And now, just ask your body if there's anything else it wants or needs before we bring this meditation to a close, and just listen for any answer it gives you. Now, your unconscious mind is going to let you know that all of this is fully integrated into your cellular memory and your emotional memory by bringing full feeling and weight back into your arms and legs, fingers and toes, and spontaneously opening your eyes. Great work. So, how was that parts work meditation for you? How do you feel now? And what do you understand about yourself that you didn't understand before? Please let me know in the comments. I would love to hear from you. Thank you so much for joining me today. As a reminder, you're invited to enroll in my free mini course, the Feel It to Heal It mini course, to experience even more regulation, inner connection, and clarity. And if you enjoyed today's episode, it would mean so much to me if you would subscribe to the podcast and also rate and review it. You could also send this episode to a friend who you think would enjoy it. And don't forget to join me every Friday on this beautiful journey out of your head and into your more embodied and authentic self.